Hello, Feuzion. Thank you for watching another live Sports Fusion episode. On the phone now, he is a New York Jets beat writer, Darryl Slater. So, Darryl, how are you doing today?
Not too bad. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. So, what is the linebacker situation for the New York Jets right now, and who do you project the few linebackers will be the starters for Week 1?
Well, the Jets are starting over at both of their outside
Mhm.
linebacker spots. They want to get more productive in terms of their edge rushing stuff. And the two favorites right now are Lorenzo Malton, guy's a second-year pro. He's their
Mhm.
third-round pick last year, and Jordan Jenkins, the
Mhm.
guy who is their third-round pick this year, a rookie out of Georgia. Those guys have gotten the bulk of the first-team work. They've worked with the starters during Thursday's preseason opener against the Jaguars.
Mhm.
The Jets are keeping it a little bit open in terms of the competition right now. You have a guy Freddie Bishop, who's a kid they signed out of the CFL, and
Mhm.
then you have Mike Catapano, a converted kind of defensive end type guy. Those would be the two backups right now, Catapano and Bishop.
Mhm.
They've gotten some time with the starters.
Mhm.
Josh Martin, another guy who's gotten a little bit of time with the starters and it has flashed a little
Mhm.
bit. But I would be surprised if it was anybody besides Jordan Jenkins and Lorenzo Malton who are
Mhm.
the outside linebackers. And inside, it's going to be David Harris once again at the middle linebacker spot, and then Aaron Henderson will start next to David Harris with Darren Lee, the first round pick this year, backing up Henderson. So inside linebacker spot's definitely set right now. Outside, sort of kind of set, but not officially.
Mhm. Okay. So they just drafted Christian Hackenberg in the second round this year. Last year they drafted Bryce Petty in the fourth round. And if Bryce Petty has a much better training camp than Hackenberg and Smith and Fitzpatrick, and if they will play and stay healthy, do you think they'll keep four quarterbacks?
Well, that's a really interesting question. That's sort of the biggest question of this training camp for the
Hmm.
Jets. It would be unorthodox if they did keep four quarterbacks, that's for
Right.
sure. I would be surprised if they did do it. Obviously, Fitzpatrick will be their starter. Geno Smith is locked in as the backup. At this point, Petty is not really competing
Hmm.
for that backup job with Geno Smith. But Petty is obviously competing for a roster spot. They're not going to get rid of Hackenberg. So those are
Hmm.
your three guys, Fitzpatrick, Smith, and Hackenberg, who
Hmm.
will absolutely be on the active roster.
Hmm.
The Jets with Petty, they can either keep him on the active roster as a fourth quarterback, really third on the depth chart, or they can try to cut him and stash him on their practice squad if they want to try to do that. The one
Hmm.
thing to remember is that Smith is going to be a free agent after this season, and Ryan Fitzpatrick's contract is really a one-year contract, so he'll be a free agent after this season. So if the Jets cut Bryce Petty and another team claims him on waivers, or the Jets just decide to let him go altogether, they'll be entering next season, at least as it looks right now, with only Hackenberg under contract definitively. So that's an interesting kind of side point to all this. Petty is a second-year guy of
Hmm.
Baylor, and he's a project kid coming out. So it's an early juncture in his career for the Jets to have to make a significant decision about him, but that's sort of the choice they face right now.
Hmm. But who do you think has the best chance to be the opening day starter quarterback? Is it going to be Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
It will be Ryan Fitzpatrick. The Jets have said that.
Okay. So this question is from Brian from Schenectady, New York. Out of the players that the Drafts got through the free agency and the draft, who do you think will have the biggest impact this season?
Oh, that's a good question. Out of the guys they drafted or free agents, well, probably not going to be one of their draft picks.
Mhm.
Uh, who did they get for agent? That kind of caught me off guard there. But this is a team that didn't have a major free agent
Mhm.
splash. I guess I'm going to kind of cheat the question a little bit because
Mhm.
the biggest impact guy will be a guy they got in a trade,
Mhm.
and that's Ryan Clady, their new left
Mhm.
tackle. So it's not really free agency. Clady was going to get cut by the Broncos, so he was sort of kind of a free agent. But the Jets weren't huge players in free agency this year. Matt Forte obviously was a free agent signing. So if you're talking strictly free agent signing, Forte is the biggest splash they made. He's their new running back. I think he'll be an important player for this team for sure because they're still going to try to run the ball a lot. But I think in terms of newcomers, Ryan Clady, the guy they traded for, the left tackle from Denver, has had some injuries lately. But if he can stay healthy, and that's been a big gift for him lately, then I think he can be an upgrade over Hiberkashawh Ferguson, who's retired. Very durable guy who had some excellent years but tailed off toward the end of his career. So I think if Clady stays healthy, the Jets could see an uptick in production there at left tackle. So I think he could be have a chance to be at least their most impactful newcomer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Darryl, before we wrap up this interview, I want to ask you, is this Jets team a playoff team?
I don't think they make the playoffs this year. No, their schedule is very tough, especially early on. Yes, they did go 10-6 last year against an easier schedule. They barely missed the playoffs last year. I think this is a team that'll finish anywhere from 7-9 to 9-7. Now, maybe 9-7 is enough to get them a wild card spot. It's almost certainly not going to be enough for them to win the AFC East. But I think ultimately they do not make the playoffs. The schedule early on is brutal for this team. They could be out of it by the middle of the season. Or at least require a major rally to get back in it. So, but if they do navigate that tough early part of the schedule, things get a little bit easier from there. So, but yeah, I think ultimately probably 7-9 to 9-17.
Okay, Darryl, thanks for taking the time and coming on the Sports Fusion episode.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Okay, Fusion Nation, you just heard it from Darryl. He just finished up saying what he thought about the New York Jets this season. He does not think they're going to be a playoff team. So stick around, Fusion Nation. I'll be back live at 2 p.m. with Evan Drellich and at 2:15 with Dan Zemborski talking some baseball. Thank you, Fusion Nation, for watching this Sports Fusion episode. I will see you in 15 minutes. Thanks for watching.